Hi and welcome to OnSide SA. They're last one standing. The season's ended, so we're going to move on. But two people went through, eh?
Yeah, Ken and Marco Gavia. Yeah, Ken Moby.
Well done to Moby, eh? Our man Moby, a Liverpool man. Who's de Gavia?
Man United man.
Oh, excellent, eh? All right, we've got Stevie B in his studio in Fulham with us today. We're going to talk about a few things, but let's kick off straight away, Budge, with the thumping in that Champions League final.
Paul, I always thought there were differing opinions, obviously, and I always thought the way they dismantled Man City, they were 2-0 down, beat them 4-2. The best performance I've seen all year was when they lost 1-0 at home to Liverpool. It should have been 6.
Yes.
And then they went to Anfield and turned it round, beat Arsenal home and away, and obviously knocked out Villa. I thought they were head and shoulders above every team. Paul, their midfield was outstanding, and I felt for Inter Milan because they were 2-0 down, and the manager, he thought, well, let's try and get back in the game. He made a few positive changes, then it went 3-0, and that was it over.
Well, but that's PSG. They'll meet their Moses when they come up in the Super Cup.
Super Cup
Spurs.
What do you think, Steve? Spurs can upset them?
Yeah, they'll upset them, but I think they'll get heavily beaten. But who knows? It's early in the season, so you never quite know.
Yeah.
But great for Tottenham to be taking part in it. But you wouldn't expect anything other than a PSG win.
No, I agree with you.
You never know.
But they're a quick team. Just talking locally, Budge, while we got Steve in the line as well. The Pyramids beat Sundowns 2-1.
Paul conceded early in the first half, one after half time, 2-0 down. They got back to 2-1, couple of chances, but disappointing, Paul. The game, the equaliser in the first game killed them. Sundowns had gone 1-0 up. It would have in the first leg would have been different, but 1-1, and then they were under pressure. And fair play to Pyramids of Egypt.
Locally, our national team, but tell us where we are with regards to qualifying for the World Cup.
Paul, there was a complaint, and remember we played a player that was suspended, should have been suspended, so it's gone to FIFA. There's no news yet. If we get those 3 points against Lesotho, which hopefully we do, then we've got a great chance. If not, then Nigeria comes squeaking back into the picture because we've got them to play at home. But let's hope, Paul. We've got 2 warm-up games this week. Tanzania and who's the other? Mozambique. So it's hard to bet on them, Paul. The odds are out with friendlies and no one really cares. But let's hope. I think it's September, the big World Cup qualifiers.
We've got to qualify. Just to have a team that even if we're going to beat, because we'll beat England. Stevie, Nations League, semi-finals. Germany lost to Portugal.
Yeah, it's evidently it's the first time that Ronaldo has played in a winning side against Germany after 5 defeats. So, and here he is again at the tender age of 40, scoring his, I think, was it 937th goal? I mean, quite ridiculous when you think about it. But if he's scoring goals, he probably feels that he deserves to be picked. But they came from 1 down. I didn't see it live. I saw highlights afterwards. They had quite a few chances, Portugal. So I guess they deserve to go through.
Spain, France tonight.
The second
Where
leg,
are they playing it?
That's all in Germany. All the games are in Germany. Steve, I watched the whole game, and the better team won. That young manager, he was at Bayern Munich, and he's in charge of the phone's going, and he's in charge of Bayern Munich, and he's gone to Germany. Why he played 3 centre halves when they know Ronaldo's the only one that's going to play up front? Was a joke. Why they play this 3 centre halves?
Did Ronaldo score?
Yeah, he scored. He looked offside.
Offside.
What was interesting for me was Bayern Munich had most of the better players, and they changed the formation that Bayern Munich played. It just doesn't make sense, and they were all over them. Once they brought Vitinha and the other guys on, there was only going to be one winner.
But there's a very good young German player who plays for Brighton.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Musiala. He wasn't playing.
Did the guy from Brighton play? He's left-footed. You might know him, Steve. He's a very good young German player.
Okay, I didn't see him.
Because I watched him last 2 games. One was Spurs and one was somewhere else. And I thought, wow, this boy.
I was disappointed in Germany. Full crack came on from West Ham, but they were never in the game. Even the goal they got was questionable, but I thought it was a goal. Portugal destroyed them. Okay. Steve, I'm all over Spain tonight. I can't have France, even though Mbappe's up front and he'll guaranteed score because that Spanish back four is nowhere. A lot of injuries in the French camp, and I saw their back four Well, what's suspected is their back four, and no Konate, no the guy from Arsenal at the back. I'm all over Spain. Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. I think Spain should be favourites for this, but it's going to be close.
Yeah.
You know, again, because it's played on neutral ground effectively. But I think Spain would probably fancy their chances. You know, again, you know, it's competitive, but for me, it's still a bit more of a glorified friendly, you know, when you've got World Cup qualifiers coming up, you know, but if you've got someone like Yamin Lamel playing, you know, at his best, you think that they might be too strong for France.
Yeah, you just never know. France can score, that's the only thing, you know, they've got Michael Elise and...
Well, what do they get out of all this?
Well, there's a final on Sunday, and the third and fourth playoff on Sunday. I don't know this thing. It's silverware and glamour. That's it. Talking of glamour, Steve. Well, I got to ask you, Paul. Ange Postecoglou. What's the latest?
I've been following my sites.
Yeah.
And the latest is Levy's back this week.
Okay.
The Romero, the centre half from Argentina, said, "I'm going nowhere." He says, "We all want Ange to stay, every single one of us."
Yeah.
He said, "This could be the first time you have a players' revolt if Ange goes." So he's given them great endorsement. And then they spoke to the midfielder, Bergvall.
Yeah.
And they said, Man City want you. He said, "I'm going nowhere." He said, "I'm staying here. I want to end my career at this club." He said, "They've given me the chance. I'm going nowhere." And all the players are behind Ange. So those are the only two things I've heard, because you get conflicting comments. Steve might know more from their papers.
What have you heard, Steve?
No, well, nothing concrete other than I was seeing in the press that they're saying if Ange goes, they're saying Thomas Frank could be their first choice. But, you know, it seems to be, it sort of changes all the time. They're going to be torn, obviously, having won a trophy for the first time in years, to then sack the manager. But on the other hand, the league form was the worst it's been in a generation. So it's not an easy decision, I think, because if he makes you know, it's easy to make the wrong call, because if they back him and then it goes pear-shaped, then that's another season down the drain. And if they sack him, you know, as you say, the players are not happy, and the fans might, you know, some fans might not be happy having won silverware. So it's a tricky one. I think it's quite a balancing act.
Yeah, I hope he stays, but I think he'll be gone. That's
me too. I hope he stays, but there's every chance he could be gone. But Levy, there's talk of Qatar buying Spurs. Yeah. Very good talk on my sites. I've seen it, and even Charlie Pigram got hold of me. So is Levy going to move away? What's happening? I don't know. So we're all guessing on that.
Could be pulling the strings at Spurs. You never know. Talking of pulling the strings, Saudi Arabia, Bruno Fernandes. I don't know if the figures are right. 100 million, that could be right, but 700,000 a week. I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Well, good luck to him. I'm pleased that he's turned it down. You know, as far as he's concerned, he still thinks he's got. You know, his career is not done yet. And you go to Saudi, you go for the money. There's no other reason. So, you know, and I'm pleased that he's staying loyal to United. I guess they've made assurances to him that they're going to change things. And look, they've already brought in Cunha, who has had a mixed, you know, season. I mean, obviously off the field he's had a few issues, but, you know, knows where the goal is, and there's a quality player. They're looking at bringing Mbuemo in, and I'm sure it won't stop there. So I'm pleased. It's, you know, for him, and I'm pleased for the Premier League that we're not losing some of our best players.
Yeah, I think he'll play this season after the World Cup.
He's a very good player. Very good pass for the ball.
Yeah, he can play. He's our best player. He's playing with Mike. That's the problem.
Last night?
Yes, he did play.
Yeah, quality.
Surprised he never got booked, but anyway, he is playing well, and he is United's best player.
Yeah.
So we did it. Guys asked me when I was over there, I said we need 2 strikers and a goalkeeper. The rest you can mix and match.
You bought a winger and you're looking for another winger.
Yeah, and Mbuemo has a go. That's one thing I like about him. He's direct.
Yeah, and the other guy's a fantastic player.
Yeah, Cunha. Yeah, just got to find a centre forward and then a goalkeeper. Just got to get that, and then we'll be top 10.
Steve, talking about transfer news, the only Budgie's put up here, I agree. Liam Delap to Chelsea. Haven't they got strikers?
Nicholas Jackson, that's the only other one. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, because I think that they're prepared to let Nkunku go. And look, Delap is a player for the future. He's a young player, came through the City Academy, played with Cole Palmer. So, you know, they were in the Man City youth team that won the Youth Cup a few years ago. You know, he's had one season in the Premier League. Scored 12 goals. looked good. He's strong. He's fast, and I think that's the sort of player that Chelsea want. He's 22, so it fits their sort of age profile. Not 30 million is a snip for them. So I think it's a good move for both of them. Whether or not he'll be starting, because he's still quite young, but he's a player for the future certainly.
Well, Maresca is also at Man City, so he knows him.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when I saw the stats of that Nicholas Jackson, who got sent off a couple of times, I think he scored like 2 goals in about 15 games. His averages were woeful in a good team, comparing to Ipswich. And as I said, he scored 12 goals at Ipswich, so he's got to be a better buy. And 30 million, I'm glad he never came to Man United. We want better than him. But for Chelsea, I think it's actually a decent move. The other one, Kuna to Man United, Steve?
Good move.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, he had a really good standout season. He missed a few games. Got a discipline issue, but I think on the pitch, he certainly, it's where he sort of did his talking. And, I say, if United are sort of start, be pairing him with Mbuemo, maybe bring another a number 9 in, then the goals are going to come. Yeah. And that was what was lacking at the end, especially when you looked at that Europa final. I mean, they until they got into the penalty area, United looked like they could have won that game. So.
Yeah, if Hoyland stays, I think he'll score goals next year. Simple reason, he needs someone next to him. But when you watch it live, Mason Mount goes nowhere, Amad Diallo goes all over, Xerxes, we need... Anyway, Kuna's has started, we get Mbuemo, at least it's a start up front.
I'm just worried about Hoyland, but I'm worried about, I've watched him so many times. He makes a couple of good runs, but...
Paul, the ball doesn't come. When I watch the Stratford end, that's the problem.
It's like defending Nunes.
Yeah.
Another guy, jeez, he jumped on
I think Hoyland, he's not the greatest. There's rumour Inter Milan are going to buy him. If he goes, well, good luck to him, but... he struggled the first 2, but it wasn't for the lack of effort. The other one is Liverpool signing Frimpong to replace Trent.
Who does he play for?
Well, he play Leverkusen.
So, Frimpong's but they're also linked with another company. They're linked with Kirkes. They've been linked with him for a little while now, left back, and also still talk whether it will happen of a potential club record of Florian Wirtz, which again, young, exciting player. So I think Liverpool. I think that they did well last year, basically with the team with the same team as before. I think they've realised you can't sit still, you can't keep the same players, and obviously with Trent going as well, I think if they got Frimpong, Wirtz and Kirkes, then they certainly could push on a bit next season.
That'll be the start of the rot, Steve. I know they get that Florian Wirtz. I've watched him a couple of times. I watched him last night. He's a flair player. He goes all over. Liverpool need a number 9. They don't get a number 9, they're going to be in trouble next year. But obviously good signings, so good luck to them. But if they sign Wirtz for 110 million plus 400 grand a week, that's what is reported on. I think the trouble will hit that change room very quickly. Good signing, I think. Liverpool selling the goalkeeper Kelleher to Brentford. They've signed Mamash Dasvila, the Valencia goalkeeper. So a good move for Kelleher. He was due a good move. Yeah. Any signings for Fulham, Steve?
Anything at Fulham?
Nothing. Well, they've released a couple of players. Willian has left. They brought him back for the second half of last season, but it didn't quite work out. I think he's not the player he was when he was with us the year or two before. So lots of paper talk. Again, I think because you had this sort of mini transfer window open, it was really sort of Chelsea and Man City are sort of looking to bring players in before the World Club Championship. Fulham generally do a lot of their business later in the transfer window, so I can't see sort of much happening just for a little while. Yeah,
World Club Champions, we'll discuss that next week. We've got all the fixtures, Steve, so plenty of time to get involved. It's World Cup weekend, believe it or not. The World Cup qualifiers, and we'll get the betting up shortly, but the team I always like backing in qualification is the Czech Republic. They're at home to Montenegro, Steve. Are they good things?
4-10.
They should be. I mean, both those teams have won both their opening 2 games. Yeah. Montenegro are not a bad side, but I think at home the Czech Republic should be too strong. But I think it'll be close-ish, but I expect them to come out with us.
I wouldn't come to be. Yeah. Thomas Souček score a goal. I was looking for the odds for him to score, but it wasn't that. Steve, interesting game. Estonia versus Israel. Israel have improved lately. You see them winning?
They're 5-10.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're favourites, Israel, but I think that those aren't the best odds. I think at home Estonia will give them a game.
Yeah.
I'd expect Israel to win it, but I think it would be quite tight.
Yeah, I went both teams to score 11-10 there. I think both teams have got to go for it. So I went both teams to score. North Macedonia, Belgium. Steve, I was having a look at the Belgium squad. Jeez, they've got some good players in it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, they've underperformed in the last couple of years. We know that. They should be favourites, and obviously the betting shows that. North Macedonia are not the worst side, and I think they'll give them a reasonable game, but I expect Belgium to come out on top.
Yeah, I went Belgium to win, both teams to score 27-10. North Macedonia unbeaten in North Macedonia. They've got
some good players.
Yeah, they've got one or two, but they're 3 wins and 3 draws in the last 6 at home. They drew with Italy and England at home in the previous Euro qualifier. So that gives them a squeak. But I like the look of that Belgium team. I think they'll win comfortably. Big game on Friday, Steve. Norway, Italy. How do you see it going?
Yeah, it is a good game. It's probably should be one of the closest ones. Look, Norway have had a decent start. They've won both their games. You've got the sort of Haaland and other players that we know. Italy haven't. This would be the first game that they're kicking off their campaign. I can see Italy holding Norway. Whether they'll go there and get a result, be interesting to see, because if this group, if Norway won this, then it makes the group interesting. If Italy go there and win, then it's I think they'll win the group. So for me, I think sort of Italy in a draw.
I'm the other way, Steve. I fancy Norway. I just think this is it. They've been building up for this for a couple of years, the World Cup. They've got Odegaard, your man Sander Berger. They've got some good players. I think it's at Oscar Bob, Soloth up front for Atletico Madrid. I think it's their time. I think that several of those Inter Milan players who got humiliated last week, I don't know if I'd like to be playing in this game. And Haaland will be on a mission here, Steve. I'm going for Norway. I just think this is their time, and you can't trust the Italians. So I think they'll play for the draw, but of the two sides, I like Norway. And Wales too good for Liechtenstein?
Yeah, they should be. I mean, whatever team they put out Wales, they should be too strong. Liechtenstein, certainly away from home, struggle, and I would expect Wales to win that. They generally don't win games, don't score a hatful of goals. I think they should win comfortably. Yeah,
that's it. Wales to score 4 goals is like 7-10. I just couldn't have a bet on them. They've done it me before. Even though Liechtenstein are poor, they'll come and park the bus. I'd say correct score would be 2-0 or 3-0 if you are looking to have a bet. On to Saturday's qualifiers, and Andorra, can they upset England, Steve?
Well, they can upset them by maybe, as you say, they could park the bus, and they could park the bus to stop England scoring a hatful. And I think everybody in the group should be beating Andorra, but I guess the question is by how many? I think England will be disappointed if they don't score, at least 4, maybe 5, and I'd be disappointed if they don't do that. So. I can't see anything other. I can't see Andorra scoring, but whether England can get more than 4 remains to be seen.
Yeah, England to score over 3.5 goals was 7-10. So that's the way I played safe. To score 5 is 14-10, but you just never know. I think it's an artificial pitch they're playing on 2 in Andorra, so it'll be a tight first game. And the worst thing is you get 2 or 3-0 up. That's it. You just want to see the 90 minutes out. Malta, Lithuania, Steve, 2 strugglers. I fancy Malta of the 2 sides. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, they're both in the sort of lower order of. I think Lithuania are a higher ranked side, but then Malta at home will give them a game. It's hard to call. You can see this going either way. I think Lithuania will start as favourites, but Malta could probably hold them.
Yeah, I took the easy one. I think there'll be goals. They're both going to have to go for it. 12-10, both teams to score. That's my suggestion in that game. Next game, I think, will be a fiery affair, Steve. I looked at the bookings and red card market, but nothing was out. Albania versus Serbia. How do you see it going?
This is in England's group. Serbia, this is their first game in the group. Albania, England have already played. I think this is going to be a bit closer than the odds show. Albania are not the worst side. They gave England a sort of fairly tough game. Yeah. I think Serbia certainly starts as favourites, but for me, Albania have got a chance at home.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few goals in this. Is your man Mitrovic still playing for Serbia, Steve?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's still their main man up front. So
they all
I suspect he'll play.
Just gone.
Only thing is, I think my boy from Preston, the Barton's up front for them. I don't know if he's going to start Ossie Magic. So if he's up front, he'll have a bit of bite to that team. I think there'll be goals in this, but I hope this game's on TV because I'll be watching it. Austria too good for Romania, Steve?
Yeah, they should do. Romania have got a bit stronger in the last year or two, but I think Austria at home should be too strong. I don't think there'll be much in it, but I think Austria should come out on top.
Paul, your centre half there, there's a Dragozic, he's a captain at Dragusin. Is he fit? Have you heard any news? Is he still out?
He's still out, yeah.
Okay, he's still out, then I'm all over Austria because he gets that team fired up at the back. So if he's out, then you've got to go for Austria. And last but not least, Finland hosting the Netherlands. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to bet against the Netherlands winning with the players they've got. Finland competitive at home, but I think against a team like the Netherlands, I think that I can't see anything other than an away win.
Yeah, it was 9-10, the Netherlands to win by more than one goal. That's my suggestion in that particular game.
Who's in charge? Still the same guy in charge of the Netherlands? Still there, Koeman.
Yeah. There are a slew of international friendlies, and we've hand-picked the competitive ones. Yeah, there's like some of the games were in America and so on. So we've just gone for the European ones. And the first came up, Steve, you've got Luxembourg versus Slovenia.
Yeah, Luxembourg are not as bad as they were years ago, and at home they've won a few in recent years. You'd think that Slovenia would still be favourites, but I think it'll be a close game. Yeah,
Slovenia got players. They've got the goalkeeper from Atletico Madrid. They've got the centre forward everybody wants, Sesko. But the problem with he's a good player, RB Leipzig. The problem is with the friendlies, I've found that you go for teams and they're winning and then they take players off after 30 minutes and the game changes. So if you are looking for some advice, I'd look at the goals market. But of the two sides, Slovenia are the better side. But I had a look at the betting. It was even money, both teams to score. So I think that's the way you should go there. Yeah. Hungary, Sweden, Steve. Two sides going play. I like these two sides. I know Hungary have had a bad run lately, but in the Nations League, they were in the top division where Sweden were in the C division. Should be goals in this, though.
Yeah, I think this is quite an evenly matched game. As you say, Hungary, a few years ago had a really great little purple patch and then sort of gone off the boil a bit recently. But Sweden depends again. If you've got players like Isak playing, it could be quite good. So again, as you say, friendlies, you're not quite sure what we're going to get. I think these are two well-matched sides, so I could see being very close, not much in it at all.
And Goiker is too, the centre forward from Sporting Lisbon, who everybody wants, so he'll more than likely play up front, so I think that'll be a good game. Now Scotland hosts Iceland. You never know with the Scots. They always concede, Steve, so my suggestion is Scotland to win and both teams to score, but how do you see it going?
Yeah, I think that Scotland should be too strong. Iceland again, they're not a poor side. Don't always travel so well. It's I could say as international games go, this is almost a derby because I think Scotland is probably the nearest country to Iceland for them to play. Maybe the Faroes, but no, I think it'll be a competitive game. But Scotland should come out on top.
Yeah, I would never trust the Scots. When the odds on, you let them go. When they're bigger price, you chance them. Denmark, Northern Ireland team. I think of all the Five Nations teams, I think Northern Ireland will be close to being the second best. I know they've got the youngster from Liverpool who plays in the middle of park. They've got some good young players. I know Denmark at home are hard to beat, but I think this will be more competitive than the odds suggest.
Yeah, again, I think because it's a friendly and you're not quite sure who's going to play. But I mean, Denmark on paper should be too strong with the players they've got. But as I say, Northern Ireland got some good young players. You got the Conor Bradleys and players like that. So, I think it'll be a close game, but I suspect Denmark should be too strong.
Yeah, and last but not least, I think of all the friendlies, this will be competitive. Greece versus Slovakia. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I think again at home I would probably fancy Greece. They're a side that I think often underrated, and I think at home they should be a little bit too strong. But it'll be close again. It'll be another one.
Yeah, I think there'll be goals in it, but another game where it'll be tight early on. Then once the changes are made, and I think there will be a few goals. So if I was having a bet, I would be backing the more goals in the second half than the first. Steve, MLS, can't believe one team sold me down the river last week, Orlando City. Could have puked. They beat Inter Miami the week before 3-0 away and got beat at home. But anyway, a first game up. Our man is back, Paul.
Who's our man?
OnSide Benteke, DC United. They won last week. So did Chicago, by the way. Which way you see it going, Steve?
Yeah, I think it'll be close. I mean, there's not much between them in the lower half of the Eastern Conference, but I fancy DC United at home. Yeah. I think they might just edge that.
Yeah, I saw 11-10 them to score over 1.5 goals. I like also the look of over 2.5 goals. Our man Benteke's back. One thing's guaranteed, goals. Just got to double check that he's starting. That's the only side. But this will be a tight game, which could go either way. But like Steve, I think DC United are the better side. Colorado versus Austin. Steve, I'm all over Colorado. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do at home. I think that they should be too strong for Austin. And I think those odds sort of sound about right. So for me, Colorado, I think it'll be close, but Colorado should be too strong for them.
Austin haven't won in 8, drawn 4 the last 5. I'm all over Colorado, especially as they've won the last 2 at home. Portland, I need them to score 2 goals last week. They sold me down the river, Steve. I expect them to get back to winning ways against St. Louis, the side that's only won 1 in 12. Wow. 7-10, a decent price?
Yeah, I think so. They should be too strong. St. Louis are not having a good season, and I think Portland should win that, probably by a couple.
Yeah. Actually, I had a look at the odds this morning. I can't believe they were 9.5 to 10 this morning, so had to enter a quick bet. Los Angeles, Steve, they play in the World Club competition next weekend. What do you think they'll do? You think they'll fine-tune, play their best team, or will they rest most of their regulars?
This is a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if they rest 1 or 2, just to be on the safe side. The World Cup competition for them is a big step up. So they're doing pretty well in the league. They're not running away with it like they have in the past. So I don't think they'll rest everybody, but they could easily rest 1 or 2. But I think they should still be too strong though. Yeah.
Sporting Kansas City, I think are due for a hiding. That's the problem. I think they'll go 2 or 3 goals up early, Steve, and then take the main people off. But still got to fancy Los Angeles. Now, I had a look at your team, Vancouver. They got beat 5-0 in that CONCACAF Champions League final. I had a look at the odds this morning, Steve. They've gone 2-1. Now, do you know anything? I can't believe it. I know they got beat.
I don't understand that, because I mean they're playing Seattle. It's a big game. It's a derby, really. But Seattle are in the World Club Championship. So, there's a bit of me thinking maybe they might rest 1 or 2 on the basis that they can't afford to get injuries. In the league, Vancouver are going really well. They've only lost 1. Yeah. So I fancy them to be too strong. I think they'll play the strongest available side, and I think that they'll win that.
Yeah, I was on Seattle, the double with them last week. They got beat 3-2 at home by Minnesota. So Minnesota aren't in the same league as Vancouver, but I've just got to double check the starting 11. But 2-1, I think is an absolute gift. But you just don't know whether they're going to make a million changes, Stephen. There are World Cup qualifiers, and maybe they've got several players involved in the qualifiers. That's maybe they'll change the side. Steve, pressure time again as always. I need your best bet and value bet.
Yeah, well, I'm going for Vancouver as my best bet. I thought even before, I thought those were decent odds against a team who I think might rest a few for the World Club Championship. Yeah. And my value bet, I'm going to go for Albania on the basis that I think at home they've got a decent record at home in qualifiers, and I think that this is Serbia's first game up, so anything could happen. I think Serbia might be favourites, but I think Albania will give it a go.
Yeah, you just never know with those Serbians. A bit of a volatile crew. Yeah, I'm going for Portland, Steve, and I saw 9-10 this morning. I couldn't believe it, so I'm on there. But my value bet, I'm going to chance Norway. This is their time. If they can't get a result now with what the players that they've got, as I said, Odegaard, Haaland, Sorloth, your man Berg at the back, they're quite well organised. They can't beat Italy. This is it. They won't get to the World Cup, so I'm going to chance Norway. I couldn't put Vancouver at 2-1, sorry, when we've got 12-10 on the show, but I can't believe they're 2-1. Something must be up. Steve, thanks as always.
Thanks very much,
We'll
Steve.
speak over the weekend.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye, Paul.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Right, let's move on, Bud.
Yeah.
We need to know your selections for the
Yeah,
weekend.
Paul, soccer exotics for Saturday, and obviously mainly international, bar the 13, which has a few club games in. And South Africa playing Zimbabwe, and that's in the COSAFA Cup. So I'm going South Africa, win and draw. I've gone the field in the Latvia-Azerbaijan clash. Likewise, the Malta versus Lithuania game. I don't see Tanzania losing to Madagascar 1-2 and ending up with two bankers. I'm going Denmark to beat Northern Ireland and Austria to beat Romania 2-1-6. On to my second soccer six, I'm going Serbia, win and draw against Albania. Bankering Netherlands to beat Finland. Greece win and draw at home against the Ukraine. Siding with Greece win home draw against Slovakia. Siding with Ukraine win and draw against Canada, and Turkey win and draw in the US. And I'm going Mexico win and draw at home against Switzerland 192. On to the soccer 10, I'm going South Africa, win and draw against Zimbabwe. Azerbaijan had to chance someone, win and draw in Latvia. Going for Malta to avoid defeat at home against Lithuania, as well as Tanzania, win and draw against Madagascar, and bankering Denmark to beat Northern Ireland. On to the second page, I'm going with Serbia to avoid defeat in Albania. Two bankers, Austria to beat Romania, the Netherlands to beat Finland, and ending up with two win and draws. Greece win and draw at home against Slovakia, and the Ukraine win and draw against Canada, 256. On to the soccer 13, banking Netherlands to beat Finland, Austria to beat Romania, Serbia win and draw in Albania, and Malta to avoid defeat at home against Lithuania. Going for Denmark to be too good at home against Northern Ireland, and Greece to avoid defeat at home against Slovakia. Going for the Ukraine, win and draw in Canada. On to the second page, I think Turkey will avoid defeat in the USA, ending up with banking Almeria to be too good in the Spanish Segunda against Real Oviedo. On to Sweden, I'm going Ariana FC win and draw against Oskarshamns, and FC Rosengård win and draw against Skövde. Ending up with two bankers, Quivitting to beat Astorps and Kristianstad to beat Rappa Golf 256. Yeah, budgies bets for the weekend, Paul. Yeah, international is tricky, Paul, but you know, we've always having a dough. Yeah, I'm going the Czech Republic to beat Montenegro and over 2.5 total goals. I'm going Belgium to beat North Macedonia and both teams to score. And then both teams to score in the Estonia versus Israel fixture, 3,300 to 200. On to Saturday, I'm going over 3.5 total goals in the Andorra versus England game. I'm going the Netherlands to beat Finland by more than 1 goal, and both teams to score in the Albania-Serbia and Malta versus Lithuania matches, 2,600 to 200. Have to have a dip on the friendly, so I'm going mainly with the goals. I'm going over 2.5 goals, both teams to score in the Luxembourg, Slovenia and Greece versus Slovakia games, and Denmark to beat Northern Ireland and both teams to score, 3,700 to 200. On to America, where only 5 games, but I fancy 4 fairly strong. I'm going Colorado to beat Austin. I'm going over 2.5 total goals in the DC United versus Chicago game. Los Angeles to beat Sporting Kansas City by more than 1 goal. And Portland to beat St. Louis and both teams to score, 4,800 to 200. My team goals only sides, I'm going Colorado, DC United, Portland and Vancouver, all to score over 1.5 goals, 3,300 to 200. Nicolas King 6 or Nixa. I'm going Belgium to beat North Macedonia, the Czech Republic to beat Montenegro, the Netherlands to beat Finland, Colorado to beat Austin, Los Angeles to beat Sporting Kansas City, and Portland to beat St. Louis, 2,600 to 200.
Looks good, Budge. Looks good.
Yeah, Paul, well, next week.
How come there are only 5 games?
Well, there's internationals this week, Paul. Okay. Brazil, and they're all playing tonight, tomorrow. So obviously they cancel the games. Next week, Paul, we've got 14 MLS games and the World Club starts. So we'll have the 16 games there to preview and see if we can find a few things.
It feels strange not doing last one standing.
Unbelievable, Paul. Even the Premiership, you know, normally there's so much going on. And the problem is, Paul, from the betting side is not many sites have the complete odds. So they'll have the usual bits. So, you know, we love the value to
Okay.
ascertained. And that's
Well, that sums it up. And there we go. Until next time, stay on side.